Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer. And good morning to you. Welcome back to the hottest spot in town. This is Sunshine's Corner. Well, it's good to be back because after last week, I thought I was going to, wow, can you believe I was snowed in, couldn't get out? Wow, what a change that was. Should I say what a surprise that was? But thank God for Jesus. I tell you what, we got through this well, and I'll have to say we didn't have many fatalities or anything like that to talk about with this great snowstorm that came into Pensacola, in January of 2025. That's one for the history books. But let me say good morning to you and welcome in. Let's get this thing started off the right way. And as we always do on Mondays, let me say thank you to Parlor Donuts. They have always sponsored this hour. And as you can see with these tasty donuts, freshly made every day. With me just consuming that scent, I can just smell that sugar. It smells so good. If they just disappear, you know who did it. But listen, if you want to get your day started off right, make sure you visit Parlor Donuts at 120 Palafox Street, right downtown in Pensacola. And of course, every single day, my dear friends, we try to talk about the things that are very much so important for the community. Very much so important. So we will know what we need to do, how we need to do it. And I believe if we talk about it, it will certainly make things better. And today it is no different. I had the opportunity. She crossed my mind and I didn't know she was going to drive all the way. Oh my God. Good morning, Grace. Good morning. Wow. You came in from Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Oh, but look, all I can say is, I feel special.
Well, I feel special. I appreciate you having me.
Oh, but of course, anytime, because we've known each other for quite some time. We've always come across each other for years and years and years. Yes, and I thought about this with everything that's going on right now in our country. Yes. This is the perfect time that we could talk, because you're the president, right? Over the
Latino media.
Yes.
Which is the publisher of the Latino newspaper. I'm also the founder of the Hispanic Resource Center, which is a nonprofit organization.
Oh, okay, wonderful. I know you do a lot of work because I follow you on social media. I see even with the pictures, how you take it. You do a lot of work, and that's a great thing that you're doing, and we appreciate that. And I've got to be very transparent today because I tell you, with things that are happening right now in our country, with the things, how they're going, especially with people of color, and I can say that because I'm definitely a person of color. And we've talked about this beforehand, but I want to say to our viewers today that when I had so many guests on earlier this year about Project 2025, I don't think people took me as serious as I took myself because of the fact that we didn't think things were going to be as quickly as they're trying to be. And I know it affects your community as well as mine. Yeah. And we were talking before we got on camera this morning about even some of the things what you do, even with a storm when it hits like it did this past week, you know? Yeah. Tell us about that just to get the conversation started.
Well, I make it a point to make information available to people, crossing that language barrier.
Of course.
So like during hurricane season, those storms come in, people need to know how to be safe, have to know what to expect and how to prepare. And so I just turned that experience that I have in doing that in the community, having worked for the Red Cross as their public relations director as well as Escambia County. I worked with emergency management for a while, and that's kind of my thing.
Right.
And so I get to do that with a Spanish-speaking community now and assist these organizations that keep doing that work. But I can do that, in a different kind of realm by translating the important information.
Most certainly.
And then helping some families that aren't quite ready. You know, when people move to Pensacola, they never expect it to get cold. They think we're in Florida, it's nice and sunny all the time.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
and they don't know that in the wintertime it does get cold.
Yes.
And we do have a lot of folks from Central America and South America that are not prepared for the cold weather.
Right.
When you move to a new place, you're limited on what you brought with you, right? Of course. And so I just know that we have a lot of folks that don't have winter clothes and trying to express the urgency in getting home and children ready, with the right clothing and heat and stuff like that. And of course, we do have some families that don't have enough heat in their homes. to stay warm.
Oh, wow.
And kind of educate on the dangers of like frostbite and those
Right,
types
of
of
course.
things, and educating, what those are.
Amen.
Yeah, and so we are able to provide heaters for some folks, and then we have to go through the whole safety issues with
Educate
that.
them, even how to use them.
Well, I actually go into their homes and make sure that their homes can even support, that
Oh,
the
okay.
power of using a space heater,
Okay.
because they trip circuits and that type of thing if you don't have adequate power
Most
in your
certainly,
home.
most
So-
certainly.
And then, of course, if there's children, you're making sure that it's in a safe place, that it doesn't get knocked over or
I understand
cause any
totally.
issues. So
I understand
all
totally.
of that. And then blankets. We give out a lot of blankets. I work with Reverend Powell at Christmas time with Truth for Youth.
Really?
Yes.
Hey, Reverend Powell.
Oh, yeah. he supports us quite a bit. So every year we're a part of the recipients and, his group
Right.
that get Christmas gifts. And so as we deliver the gifts instead of asking families to come and, get
But
them
of
from
course.
us. We go and deliver them, and it gives me an opportunity to see what kind of needs that they have.
Yeah.
And one thing over the last few years, we noticed that a lot of folks were without adequate heat, and so we started delivering blankets
Oh, excellent.
with the Christmas gifts.
Like I said, everybody, she does a lot. I mean, I don't care what event you go to, we go to see Grace, she's going to be there. Well, Grace, I tell you, that's so much great work right there. But let me ask you, let's get a little bit deeper.
Sure.
With what's going on right now in our country, how has the Latino community been affected right here in Florida by the increased focus on immigration being enforced right here?
Yeah.
And when you see it now on TV, it's unbelievable what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
How has that been affecting?
So I think it's important to keep in mind that the Hispanic community is very diverse in itself, right? So not everyone has the same issues.
Right.
I'm an American citizen. My parents were born in this country. My grandparents were American citizens. And so threats of deportation, that kind of thing, do not really affect me, except that it affects, a lot of people that I truly care about and that
Right.
that I support and just love.
Of course.
know?
Of course.
And so it's increasing fear is what's happening right now.
Uh-huh.
Because of the talk that is equally harmful of who we are.
Right.
The using words like rapists and murderers to describe
Mm-hmm.
a group of people that are only here to survive.
Absolutely.
To look for an opportunity for employment.
That's right.
They're not people that are trying to become millionaires necessarily,
No.
but just people that are just trying to put food on the table and don't cause harm to anyone.
Most certainly.
To be put in this category of criminals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I know I can see that. I see it in your eyes, the emotion that's there, and I understand that 150%. And I don't want to get emotional myself. I'm trying to
gonna
count. But the fact of it is, I understand what you're saying, and the fact that what's being put in front of us now, even with the Latino community. And I think about that even when we're here every single day trying to live. We want to do better for our families, and to have something to come down to say we're going to, because we have these labels that's been put on us.
Yeah.
And I understand that. Is the community right now, like in my community, there are a lot of things that's affecting us that we're dealing with right now, and trying our best to stay strong with that. How is it with that? And there are some people, like you said, can't even speak the language well.
Yeah.
Is that affecting them in a different way? I mean, they know about it, but the urgency, and when you see what you see on TV is what's being portrayed.
Yeah.
How is it that you deal with that here?
I mean, if you can understand how much the problem is compounded when you're afraid to send your children to school.
Right.
And then you're struggling to understand what's being said around you. Possibly what's being said about your children or to your children.
God, yes.
That language barrier adds quite a bit of a problem on top of, the things that we're dealing with.
Right.
but I think this is history repeating itself.
Mm-hmm.
I hear a lot of rhetoric, a lot of talk about things that were said 100 years ago.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
And it's as if it's coming back. What do you think that is? I'm talking just you and I talking now. What do you think is that they would get to a point where now they just want to, it's like they want to hurt people in my book. I think it feels like I want to be that strong person that I have the authority. I'm the one who does this. I mean, that's what I see.
Yeah.
And it's that control issue. That's the word I'm looking for, to control.
Yeah.
Because I believe that all of us that here in this country, we have a job. We're doing something. We're bettering the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't you think so?
Absolutely. I mean, everyone's contributing. And I think at some point, if things continue on this path that they're talking about, possibly, these mass deportations and that kind of thing, it's going to affect the economy. And
most certainly.
Yeah. And until that happens, will everyone see the contributions that these immigrant workers make to our communities, to our country. That would be a dreadful thing to see, I think.
I think so
too. There would be
too.
a lot of suffering for lots of people in different ways that they're affected by this, not just people that are being deported, families that are being separated, of course.
Right.
But then communities that actually do depend on these workers. Yeah.
They do the work.
Yeah. I think there's a moral consequence as well that I worry about. I kind of have to put that at the end.
I understand.
Because right now just kind of focus on the calm, the concerns that people have about just trying to get by day to day. And so we do a lot of things in sharing information about knowing your rights.
Exactly. Okay, I'll be okay.
Well, yes, except that they're trying to take those rights away from us. So right now, we've got this new bill that passed that basically takes away due process.
That's right.
For undocumented immigrants.
That's right.
Someone can be accused of something, and that alone puts them in this kind of cycle that can, get them deported. Hopefully not harmed.
Right.
Because when you have people on the street trying to enforce the law, that creates chaos and a lot of harm, physical harm, to innocent people.
Is there a lot of maybe perhaps is there a fear there with the community about somebody even from the outside? Because when there's fear, that affects everything that you do.
Well, if you haven't noticed, I'm even kind of careful about how I word things because I don't want to give people ideas.
I understand.
That's fear.
That's right.
Not in the sense that I'm running scared, but I feel protective about people that are innocent in their nature. You know what I'm saying?
I understand exactly what you're saying about being careful with your words because I have to do it every single day. Because if I could say really what I feel on the inside, it would be a different story.
Well,
and I understand what you mean, and what I keep saying, what I see in your eyes, because your eyes are the window to the soul, and it's just I understand. Let me roll like this way. You believe in prayer?
Yes, I'm. It's a little bit harder to come by these days. That kind of faith, it's hard to lean on it sometimes for me.
Right.
Because you get tired of praying. Sometimes you get tired of asking for help.
Right. Yeah. Let me say this, and this is just for me, and I'm only telling you because of my being a woman of color myself. If I did not have prayer and my faith, I don't know where I'd be. Hold on to your faith. I mean, I know sometimes it get hard. I look at the things now, even what's happening now. Every day when I look, I see all of the people that are letting go of DEI. Everybody think that DEI is just for people of color. Wrong.
No.
It's not just for us. But places that are even stepping up and saying, well, we're gonna get rid of this. We're not gonna allow you the opportunity to do this. That takes you back to what you said earlier. We're going right back to what it was 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And therefore I understand what you're saying. But when it comes to faith, I truly believe, and I just want to encourage you, because I'm encouraging myself, because there's so many things that we in my community got to stand for as well, that I'm going to hold on to my faith, that I have to believe. I've got to have something to hold on to, because I understand when you say that it's name calling, categorizing us, which is untrue.
Well, I want to tell you, I'm going to take that a little bit further, because every single person that I've met, and I've met people that have walked from South America.
Oh, wow.
They got here on 100% faith and prayer.
Amen. Amen. Hold on to it. We're talking to Grace, and I tell you, she's just causing me to become more emotional, because I understand totally. We're going to be talking more about that. Now, if you would like to be a part of this conversation, for encouraging, even just to give all of us an encouraging word, 850-432-7768. That's the number. We'll be back with more right here on Sunshine's Corner.
Good day, Pensacola. Welcome to a new segment on health and wellness, sponsored by Baptist Healthcare in partnership with Sunshine's Corner. Every first Wednesday of the month during Sunshine's telecast, we're going to be bringing you information about health and wellness and ways to make sure we're improving the quality of your health care here in Pensacola. After all, we want to ensure that you're going to the right place at the right time and for the right reason, and that you don't feel alone. Can't wait to see you.
Do you have a house that you want to turn into cash? I'm Mike with Mullet Man Buys Houses from Pensacola, Florida. Maybe you inherited a house, are facing foreclosure, have tenant issues, or the house is in general disrepair. I buy houses cash, in as-is condition, and close in as little as 3 weeks. I can provide you a competitive offer the same day I walk through your house. With Mullet Man Buys Houses, you can find the easy solution to put cash in your hand as quickly as possible.
Many who consider facial plastic surgery are concerned their results will look unnatural. But with over 20 years of serving the Pensacola community, his thousands of satisfied patients have made Dr. Derek Jones a trusted reconstructive and facial plastic surgeon known for industry-leading results that look natural. Call 850-484-FACE to schedule a consultation at one of our locations in Pensacola and Gulf Breeze.
I'm Dr. Derek Jones. Trust your face to a facial plastic surgeon.
At Pensacola Habitat for Humanity, we believe every child should have a safe place to grow. That's why we work with you and the community to build not just a house, but a home.
She worked very hard to get this house. I really appreciate that, because, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here right now.
When you help build a home, you build a future. Pensacola Habitat for Humanity.
And welcome back to this Monday edition of Sunshine's Corner. We're talking the realness of life, the things that are happening in our world today. And I've got to say this because before, when Grace and I were talking about the things that are trying to be stripped away from us, the name calling and all of that. But I want to say to you, from the heart of a woman, let's not allow fear to cause you to become hostile when you don't have to. I believe, and there were some things we were talking about off air that we truly understand totally together, because of the fact, even now, and you've heard me say this on numerous occasions, I honestly believe that with the office, the highest office in the land right now, it's like there's a fear there of losing, of something that you thought you had, or should I say, just to show that I have the power, that I can do this, or just to show that if it doesn't go this way, I can stop this. But you see, with me, I believe in that greater power. Even though you may think so, it's not going to be as easy as you think, and I'm going to hold on that with Grace as well, because of the fact we are people of color, and the things as if it's being pointed toward us. Let's say even with the affirmative action, okay? Mm-hmm. that does not just affect me. That not just affect Grace, you as well. But all of these things are being stripped away. And as you can see, I look at the companies now also, Grace, that are saying that they're going to even take away the DEI that I think has been so effective in the country. But I think that we as a country, as a people, because our dollars are just as important as anybody else's, that we can stand strong on putting a dent in it where it hurts. If you understand what I'm saying. Don't give up on that fact. Please be a part of this conversation today at 850-432-7768. You can call or text that number. There are times, sometimes, Grace, I'll get people that will talk to me and they'll say things even off air or text me nasty messages because I'm, I believe that's because of I'm telling the truth.
Makes people uncomfortable.
It makes people uncomfortable because of the fact even with some of the text messages that come in, I know about the name calling.
Yeah.
Which is unnecessary.
Yeah.
I know about that. What that allows me right there to realize what I'm doing is effective. Because of the fact that if you're going to sit there and listen and then take the time to name call me. So I got to, as my mother used to say, rest her soul, that shoe beginning to fit. But you understand what I'm saying.
Sure.
And but we were talking about the fact of, before we went to break, how it's affecting our communities, how it's affecting people who are thinking that there's a chance that I could be deported out of this, out of the country. And how is it that with people that you're talking with, how are they dealing with the family, with the children? Because there could be a lapse in there that somebody would have the rights here, and if they're born here, I don't think he can touch those people.
Well, we hope not.
That's what they're trying to do.
The things that are being said, the things that are being suggested and proposed, they're scary because it does affect American citizens. It affects all of us. Because the idea that you can take someone's rights away in this country, civil rights, constitutional rights,
but of course,
they're being threatened and being taken away from anyone can mean that we can take it away from everyone if we allow that process to happen.
Exactly.
And so we're going to pick and choose who can have these rights and who can't when these have been established from the very beginning, that these are for everyone, because this is the land of the free. This is the land where you are given an opportunity to prove your innocence before you're presumed guilty.
I agree.
But those rights are being taken away right now for these folks. So the scary part is that, being accused of something that you didn't do doesn't matter. And now your whole world is going to be turned upside down. Your children may not ever see you again. That sounds extreme, but if you know what it's like to have a parent deported, I've seen it happen many times. I've seen children left behind when both their parents were deported.
Oh my God.
Here in Pensacola, it happens. Yes, ma'am.
Oh my Jesus, we got somebody on the phone. Let's see who's calling us today. Good morning. Hello.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning, Sunshine. This is Tracy James. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well, Tracy.
Good morning, Tracy.
Good. I just wanted to call this morning. I see you had Grace on, and just encourage her. She has been phenomenal in this community.
Yes, she is.
And I know she knows that. She does so much, and she's been a beacon of hope for so many. And every community needs a Grace McCaffery. every community needs a Grace.
Sure.
She has worked for so many years tirelessly.
Yes.
She's been in some tough situations I've watched and I've seen, and she's fought the good fight. She's standing up for what's right.
That's right.
For her community. So we just appreciate her, and we hope that she continues to fight and know that there are those of us who are behind the scenes, but we support her, and keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy. That really does go a long way.
Thanks, Tracy.
You are so welcome. You ladies have a good day.
All right,
Thank
bye-bye.
you so much, Grace.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. And you see, that's what I tell you. Ever since when I first got here, I mean, you and I connected a long time ago, but the fact of it is that your work speaks for itself.
And it's not, I mean, I don't want to to look like it's just me doing everything.
Of course
all the
not. I
time.
understand.
There is a lot of people that contribute to the things that I'm able to deliver, because at the end of the day, most people are sensible. Most people are compassionate.
Right.
The squeaky wheels sometimes get too loud.
I love that.
But the majority of folks are really decent and really want something that works for everyone.
Exactly.
And that's, I think, the root of all of this, that, you know, while we're having to deal with these policy changes and all this kind of stuff, it's not the only solution.
Right.
There are other ways to handle this that we could have been doing for a long time.
For many years.
But doing things this way allows people to be expressive in hateful ways.
Yes.
That's the part that makes it, you know, harmful.
And hurts.
Well, I get accused of being a little too emotional sometimes, so, you know.
No, look, I understand. We understand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you look into people's eyes, when you take the time to ask questions, and I realize there's not, you know, a lot of leadership that is bilingual that can have these conversations with people.
Right.
But just the same way that they do listen to their constituents, this is what I do.
Exactly.
And I go to people's homes and I talk to them, and people send me messages and tell me about their family and their situations and what they're afraid of and what they're celebrating, you know, all kinds of things through the years that we've discussed. And so I'm blessed that I am able to, I'm a good writer, and I, you know, my story is pretty interesting how I got here, but I wound up being a communicator.
Of course.
And so sharing these stories with the community, with our leadership, to help them understand what's going on, and so that when you hear this kind of fear-mongering kind of campaign come out, you say, well, you know, that's not what I saw at Christmas time. That's not what I saw after the hurricane. That's not what I saw here and there. And we have to keep people mindful of those times.
Absolutely. Even though.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. 2 years ago, Florida passed what we call an anti-immigrant law that rattled a lot of our community. I mean, I literally had, especially single mothers, calling me and just bawling because they were terrified. They didn't know what to do. They had just gotten here. They have 2, 3, 4 kids. Going back to their country is extremely dangerous. And they had nowhere else to go.
Right.
And that's what they were telling me. What do I do? And I'm like, I can't tell you. I can't tell you to move. Do you know people in another state that you feel comfortable with? If that's what you think is best, I want you to think it through. But right now, I need you to calm down.
Exactly.
And so that's what a lot of the work is just kind of being in the moment and helping to kind of calm the situation and figure out what we're going to do.
What can you do? That's right.
In a more broader sense, knowing that they live in a community, that there are people other than myself that care about them and do want for them to be safe and happy.
Right.
That there are plenty of people, the majority of people, that want that for them, and that really does make a difference.
Most certainly. And you know, Grace, you said something there with young people, people that come into the country and then they're afraid they can't go back, but they have nowhere to go. And the fact of it is, it all boils down to hate, I believe. And I wish I could find out, what is it? Why would you hate me and you don't know me? Why?
Can I tell you, when I started a lot of this work, I spoke to a lot of civil rights leaders in this community to help me understand that was my big question.
Right.
Why do people hate me because of my complexion?
Right.
My English is clear.
Right.
My, you know, I think my demeanor is appropriate. You know, all of these things. I don't know why that's enough. And I would get consulted by Miss Blackman. Rest in peace. She was someone
Rest her soul.
I used to go to her quite often just to help me kind of keep it together. She was always so strong. And she would tell me, this is nothing new. You know,
that's right.
This is nothing new. I've heard it all, been through all of this, and it's just cycling over again.
Absolutely.
And she would give me courage to share that courage with other people, to say, we're going to get through this.
Right. And what you're saying there is so powerful as well, Grace, because I say this every day. I believe if we work together, if we sit down and talk about it, we can work together. There's nothing we can't do. Right. But there is a point of fear that we all go through. And I think if we would put that power together, we can overcome that fear. But we got some who won't.
Okay, but now what I was getting at with having us speak to Miss Georgia was that she explained to me that it is fear that causes that hatred. Wow. So can you imagine a nation?
That's
fear, fighting fear. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
And when she spoke with you, I love her, because I can remember several years back, she said, I need to talk to you because I got to pass you this torch. I want you to take this. I can just hear her voice. She was such a strong leader.
Yes, ma'am.
And what I'm trying to say is when she said that about, did she go any further to explain deeper? Because I still don't understand why is it that because of my pigmentation that there's a fear there. Is it a fear that it's going to be vice versa? That maybe what happened years ago going to be back in your way? I mean, coming from us, but we don't go that way.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that she ever addressed it in that way. But it is a fear of allowing people to be educated.
Right.
A fear of allowing people to gain prosperity.
Right.
And I think that is what's behind the stripping of DEI.
Yep.
And allowing people to learn about the past and
take on our history.
Yeah. So,
exactly.
So that we can limit those opportunities.
Exactly. I agree 100%. We're talking with Grace today, and I tell you, the more we talk, the more in depth. I just got so many things that are flowing through because I know she and I are talking about the same thing. And I would like you, and thank you for those who are. There are so many people that I watch and I run into daily who appreciate the fact that we have this platform so we can talk about what needs to be talked about. And I say thank you for all of your kind words, so let's do that together. Again, let me say thank you to Parlor Donuts right here at 120 Palafox Place downtown, Palafox Street, should I say. You can get the best donuts, look at those donuts, in town, freshly made every single day, and some of the most, you know how I love my coffee, and they have the best coffee in town. We'll be back with even more right here. You can be a part of it, Sunshine's Corner.
You finally found the perfect car in racing blue. You even got them to throw in the LED fog lights for free. Auto Owners insures your car because some people never learn to parallel park. That's simple human sense.
Ask the Messick Insurance Agency in Pensacola if Auto Owners make sense for you.
Keep going, more. No, stop!
There are many reasons someone may need in-home care, whether it may be respite care, them recovering from surgery, or having a chronic condition. Having someone dedicated and reliable is imperative. Supplemental Support Care Services was created to provide to those who are in need with quality care that they deserve in the home. Taking it a step further, our main goal is to ensure that Supplemental Support Care Services is where the love and care is top priority.
This is Charlie with RWB Spas in Pensacola. This is my #1 seller. It's the Bellagio Boo, which is aluminum frames and aluminum panels. We believe in the Charles Deming philosophy, which is quality, and we have the aluminum frames, aluminum panels, our thick inch base, and the latest, greatest technology on the market. RWB Spas, this is why everybody comes here. It's because they purchased the #1 seller in the country, rwbhottubs.com, and come meet Bambino.
Early in life, Tony found a love for craftsmanship through building furniture. Growing up in cabinet shops, he was drawn towards custom cabinetry, designing, and creating new and functional spaces. and to be able to share that passion with his clients, helping them turn their ideas into something special, making sure you get more for your investment.
Every kitchen and bath starts with your unique vision. I just bring it to life.
Master-built cabinets, beautifully handcrafted and customer designed.
Welcome back to this Monday edition of Sunshine's Corner, and I tell you, we're having a fantastic conversation on things that are happening in the world today. I want to reiterate the fact that we had many conversations in regards to Project 2025, and now I did not believe that it was going to take off as it has already so quickly. I mean, one weekend, and I mean, the things that are trying to be done right now is absolutely mind-blowing. The things that you see, even on TV, shows you that there's a heart there that has no love. That there's a heart there that really has no love.
Yeah.
And the things that are trying to be done with deportation, things that are being stripped away from the black community as well, even down to the fact of our history. They don't even want that taught in schools. But this is what we got to do, this parents. This is what we've got to teach our kids.
Yeah.
We got to do what we got to do to make sure that they know what is important to them. And the same I say with you, Grace, because of the fact that our paths is so similar. It's so similar.
Yeah.
How many times you've heard people say, why don't you go back to Africa? I didn't come from Africa. I mean, I did not come from Africa.
Yeah. Trying to educate people that the part of the country where I'm from used to be Mexico.
Come on.
That's tough. But I'll tell you, when I first moved here 30 years ago, I would have people stop me in the street and ask me, what are you? And I remember very clearly somebody actually rolled their window down at a red light and asked me that question.
You're kidding.
And I said, my family's from Mexico. And they didn't know where Mexico was. They asked the person in the car with them, and they said, is that like Polynesian? I said, no, sir.
Oh my God.
You really need to buy a map, you know. But I don't say that to make fun of the person. I say it because that was my realization of where I was living and the people I was living around. Well, I'm sure they probably know where Mexico is now.
I hope.
But back then, it was such a curiosity, such a lack of knowledge that I realized that I had to share information about myself to calm their concerns.
Exactly.
Or even just curiosity.
Of course.
Curiosity is great. I always ask people, tell people, ask questions. That's okay. I think if we talk more, we can resolve a lot more.
I say it every day.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
We can come to a better conclusion, because if you understand, then I think we can work out anything.
Sure.
But if you're still going to go back and go back to that fear,
yeah,
and you won't allow, because of the fact that knowledge is power.
Yes.
But you see, I believe with education, with the knowledge that our communities have, we don't use it in a harmful way.
No.
We use it in a way that can help each other. It's the ones that are fearful.
They don't want us to have
They
that
don't
power.
want us to have that.
They don't want us to have
They
the
don't want us to
education
have
or the
that at all,
power.
you know?
Yeah.
And it bothers me if, I'll tell you, this was, when you said that about the car, back here, I think it was in November, if I'm not mistaken, the month it was, I've been doing this exercise class for years that I do twice a week.
Yes, ma'am.
And sometimes I'll tell the ladies, hey, look, it's a beautiful day, let's walk downtown. And this is no joke. We were walking right downtown. Somebody yelled out of their window at us and called us that. That was just a month or two ago. And I got so upset, and my girl said, don't worry about it, Sunshine, don't worry about it. I said, but no, it just causes me to get upset.
Yeah.
Because why would you don't know me.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's that fear, and that's that thing that we hear all the time. And you know, I try so hard I'll say, okay, there's something that Michelle Obama said that I love. When you go low, we go higher.
Yeah.
We step higher. We don't have to step down to where you are. We go higher.
Yeah.
And with the fact that what you're dealing with every single day, as well as I, we have got to continue to fight this fight, the good fight that we're fighting, because I believe it's all going to work out for the good.
It's funny that you bring up the your workouts, because I'm pretty open about the health journey that I've been on for the last couple of years. And the last few months of 2024, I started physical training. And I let people know it's because 2025 is coming and I need to be physically fit to be able to help my community do these things. It affects obviously your mind, it affects your health, and people need to see strength.
Exactly. Oh, wow, I like that.
While it makes some people fearful, that we're getting stronger, physically or as a community, it is that kind of leadership that we need to have to inspire other people to keep their chins up.
What do you think is the lack of the leadership that we have here locally? I mean, I'm not calling no names. What do you see?
I don't feel like really critical about it because I feel like I've been given the opportunity to be heard.
Right.
There's a lot of situations that came up last year. The big one was with the Chilean workers at the ST Engineering hangar. The way that they were being treated as employees and that type of thing, and the way they were being abandoned by their employer, who are their visa sponsors.
Right.
I had a lot of explaining to do to our mayor, to our city council, to the county commission, to even understand this process and why documents were critical to these families who were on the verge of becoming undocumented because they lacked a piece of paper that the employer wouldn't provide. These types of things. It was a lot of detail that you can kind of see made them kind of glaze over and was kind of hard to understand, and kind of a bigger problem that I think a lot of folks wanted to understand, but they gave me the time to explain it. They accepted phone calls and answered emails, those types of things. So I'm not especially critical, I think, of our leadership in that regard.
Right.
I think that as a community, we could probably do better in locking arms.
I agree.
Because I know that there is support in the background where people are still... I hear this a lot, that when I am very public about my advocacy, it gives them encouragement to step forward and say, to do the right thing, to be helpful and that kind of thing. But there are some that still want to stay in the background because they are afraid of the criticisms that they'll get from people.
How do you think we're going to get over that? Because I think even though with the ones that, like you said, they're fearful of what may happen to them, but I think sometimes, I want to go back to the civil rights era. They were together. They worked together. Sure. I think that's the same that we've got to do now. It's going to be hard.
I hear so much of the same rhetoric from back then. That's why I knew to go to Ms. Blackman, to go to Reverend Matthews, who surprises me that he remembers me every time I see him. I always think that I have to reintroduce myself.
No, not Reverend Matthews.
He is so sharp.
He is so sharp. But I think he's 97 now?
Yeah. But he always gives me gems. Yes. You know what I mean? Always gives me that uplifting that I need, even if it's 10 seconds that I get to talk to him, because everybody wants to talk to him.
Everybody.
But just knowing that he's got my back and that I'm kind of following footsteps that he laid out before in this part of the country that was so much tougher, right, than other parts. That is empowering. That encouragement is just such a small word. I mean, it's empowering to know that you have that kind of backing, but there are folks that still kind of are in the background and they're still kind of afraid to be more public about their support.
Because they're afraid of what they're going to lose.
They're afraid of the criticisms that they're going to get.
Of course.
And that's that's the part of leadership that maybe a lot of people don't take into account.
That's right.
You have to take those nasty texts.
Ooh, you got to take those nasty texts, those nasty words, the name calling, the lies on, all of that.
You have to deal with them and know how to handle them. There weren't things that I could deal with very easily at first because as I explain to folks, the work that I do, it comes from a place of love.
Yes.
I am here to try and help people. They're trying to give, compassion, to share a piece of, the bread that I'm fortunate to have.
That's right.
So to be counteracted with hatred, it blew me away. I could not understand why people were being so mean to my children.
Exactly.
I could not understand why people were, saying such nasty things about me, in comments and, online and stuff like that. It just didn't register with me.
Yeah, you wonder sometimes, why would they say that? You don't even, if you see them trying to do something well, I mean, Grace, don't you just keep doing what you do.
But you have to develop that thick skin. And there are folks in leadership positions that kind of have to balance that, because they're still working on that thick skin, first of all, but they're also, trying to maintain their position because they can be helpful. But I'll say this, in the last 6 months, there's been a couple of elected officials that very directly told me that the words, it's not hard, it's not that hard to do the right thing.
Not at all.
And there's not even a response to that, because that's like so simply stated and says everything.
Exactly.
And it was encouraging, the source of where those came from, that just made me feel like we're going to get through this.
Keep on fighting this, because we're going to get better.
We're getting there, yeah.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to be a part of the conversation. I'm sure you are sitting there and you're in awe, but you see, this is how we get things taken care of. We talk about it, and that's what we do here at Sunshine's Corner. Stay with us. We've got more coming your way right here on Sunshine's Corner.
Welcome to Little John's Big and Tall, where tall men and big men go for style, fit, and comfort. We offer a wide variety of styles and unique brands that service all sizes from large to 14X, as well as tall sizes from large tall to 6X tall. Our knowledgeable staff are here to make sure you have a stress-free experience and answer any of your questions. Little John's has been named Best of Pensacola and Best of the Bay for 4 years in a row. Visit Little John's at 5700 North Davis, or visit us online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com.
It's time to find a health plan that can keep up with your life. A plan that makes getting care convenient, with doctors around the corner.
I can get used to that.
Plus, 24/7 access to care. Plans that keep more money in your pocket, with plan payments as low as $0.
$0. Looks good to me.
Let's find your health solution. Speak to a dedicated Florida Blue agent today. Call 1-850-393-7036 to learn more.
From wanting the perfect dress for the most important day of your life to simply wanting to look your best, let 2 Times a Lady be your saving grace. Whether you're looking for an elegant A-line gown or a trendy cocktail dress, our expert staff will help you find the perfect fit. 2 Times a Lady has been dressing ladies in Pensacola since 1983. Call us at 850-474-3778 or stop by the store at 2755 East Olive Road. We can help you find the ideal dress for your event.
Well, I think it's all about local, and I'm a big believer in local. So I think anytime you can carry a message out locally, it's important. And I think it's anytime the person that delivers the service can also deliver the message, which is unusual. You have the people that actually deliver the project doing the talking, and I think that's a huge difference, and really makes a huge value difference for the consumer. So I'm really just so grateful that we have this local opportunity with Blab TV. My name is Quince Dieter, and I am Blab TV.
Welcome back to Sunshine's Corner on this Monday edition. We're talking with Grace, and I'll tell you what, we are having a fantastic open conversation. I do believe that's what we need more of. That's what you're going to get when you step in to Sunshine's community right here. But Grace, we were talking about this. I think we touched this a little bit, that if with the deportation, I wonder, do they realize what a strong impact that's going to be on our economy? Not just here in Florida. I'm talking about everywhere.
Right. So
what are we going to do about that? I mean, did they not think that? Oh, did they have a plan? No.
No. I mean, what we're going to experience right now is the visuals, right?
Exactly.
They've deported 30 people, and using military planes to do this, and
Yes.
and then it becomes another political issue because that country did not allow that plane to land, and all this kind of stuff that we're going to see for the show part of it, right?
Right.
But to actually do what they're proposing or suggesting, I put it in these terms. If you think eggs are expensive,
oh my God. A dozen eggs is $5.
Immigrants work in meat processing plants.
Yes.
They work in the fields for produce. And they don't, they work in the hospitality industry, which means restaurants.
Exactly.
They do a lot of things. They're already kind of, I don't like to kind of, pigeonhole folks into these kinds of areas. When I went downtown to talk about the law that passed 2 years ago, I brought pictures because I used to work in that building of immigrants constructing the building we were standing in.
Okay.
Where
powerful message.
Where how are our homes going to get repaired after the storms or built? For the the housing that we need now.
Exactly. If you think going to the grocery store now, you come out with 2 bags, you spend $50. What do you think it's going to be?
Yeah.
I'm just being real.
The costs they're just going to keep being passed on to the consumer.
Exactly.
Until it's crazy.
Don't believe all the promises now, because the first thing was said was, well, I don't think I can do that quick. You couldn't pass those prices. I'm sorry. You couldn't do that like that. What do you think about this? How does the Latino community, should I say, advocate with the federal immigration policies with the balances of it? How do you do that with compassion? We see what's being thrown at you, right? But how is that with you being that advocate to work with the community that you get to go see, that you talk to, that you know? How are you balancing that to get their heads and their hearts in the right place to continue to be that positive person?
Yeah.
Such a time as it is, and you see where it's all the rights trying to be stripped away.
Yeah.
How do you, the conversations that you have, there's got to be hard ones.
Yeah. Me personally, they are individual conversations, that I have with families, but then there's stories that I share.
Right.
Publicly, so that people can understand that these are people.
Right.
These are human beings that, bleed and breathe and, all these things just
the same
like
as you do.
Yeah.
I agree, because I tell a person today, you cut me, my blood is red. Cut you, your blood is red. Cut him, his blood is red.
Yeah.
So why is it there's that fear game?
Well, historically, there's been a lot of, to use that word again, rhetoric to make us seem different.
Exactly.
Whether hostile, violent, criminals, physically or anatomically somehow different, so that fear gets passed on and grows, and that's where we wind up with the disasters we've had.
Exactly. And I think about this even with the laws that are being taken away, whereas I'll go back to George Floyd, even with the things now, they're saying that police officers won't have to be, if something like that should happen, pray to God that it doesn't. But the fact of it is, all of these laws that are being stripped away, I think, are the ones that should be left in place, but we're the one that's got to deal with it. Yep. So with that message that's being sent out to us, I got to say this, thank you, Lord. I want people to realize this, and I got to look in the camera when I say this. We're talking about things that's going to affect us, people of color. Believe me, it's not just going to be to us. It's going to affect everybody.
Everyone.
It's going to affect everybody, because you can't just say, okay, I'm going to get Sunshine, I'm going to get Grace, but I'm not going to get you, Tom. No, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
It's going to affect us all. Have you seen any difference? When we talk about the grocery price, it affects you, it affects me, and everybody else. Do you understand the picture I'm trying to paint?
Sure. Yeah.
It affects all of us.
Yeah.
And we got to realize that, get rid of the hatred. Let it be about love. Let's bring this country where it's supposed to be.
That's what I'm saying. What I've been saying is that there are different ways to solve the issues at the border, with immigration issues. There's a different way. There are different ways to handle it. It doesn't have to be
everybody. You got to just try to ship out everybody.
Yeah, you know, drawing up these images of just sweeps and just putting people on their way and sending them to another country. You know, I've shared before, my grandfather was an American citizen, but he was deported several times during, you know, times of the Great Depression.
Right.
Because back then immigrants were also being blamed for the economy, and, you know, whatever was wrong, they were blaming immigrants. And so back then they would do things like that. They would stop in the middle of the street and just pick up folks and take them far into Mexico, make it as far as they could, so that would make it harder for them to get back.
I understand.
My mother's family was very poor. Like, all of my aunts and uncles were born here. Both my grandparents were also American citizens.
Right.
But they struggled to put food on the table and take care of the younger ones. Right. My aunts and uncles, they had to do what they could do to find my grandfather.
No doubt about it.
And I mean, you know, that sounds like such a long time ago. But what are we talking about now?
Exactly. Why are we bringing it all up again?
Looking at doing now. Yeah.
Exactly. If a person wanted to get in touch with you, how can they do that, Grace?
Well, it's pretty easy to Google me.
There you go. I tell you.
My number is 850-494-7899. The website is Latino Media Inc. as an incorporated, inc.com. And our Facebook page is just Latino Media.
Yes.
Very active there. And so
that's easy to get in touch with.
Really
if you don't call me, I'll get you in touch with that. Grace, I tell you what, this hour has gone by so quickly. Can you believe that?
Are we done?
Yes, it has. But I just want to say thank you for coming in today so we can talk about it. And we will continue to have this conversation because we see what's happening in the world today. We see what's happening here on the Gulf Coast. And I promise you, we will talk about it again.
Always remember, there but for the grace of God go I.
Amen.
And think about what it's like to be in that other person's shoes.
No doubt about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to get out of here. Look, I'm going to leave you as I do every day. Never lose your focus. Always remember to keep God first in whatever you do. Do that, you're going to be a total success. Until tomorrow, know that I love you with a perfect kind of love. Keep shining while I'm gone.
Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer.